Let's dive into the big news for network engineers. Cisco has officially restructured the 350 to 401 ENCOR exam for 2025. The core change is a complete reordering. All those intense performance-based lab items are now front-loaded at the start of the test, with multiple choice questions filling the second half.
It's a smart move. Honestly, it's all about cognitive load tackling complex labs when you're 90 minutes into a 2-hour exam is a recipe for silly mistakes. This lets you burn your peak mental energy on the simulations first. Cisco isn't just testing what you know anymore. They're optimizing for how you think by getting the heavy lifting labs out of the way first.
I see. So it's less about trying to trip you up and more about getting an accurate read on your skills when you're at your best.
Exactly. But there's a hidden strategy here too. By grouping the labs in the first hour, Cisco's forcing you to be a better time manager. If you get stuck on a lab for 40 minutes, you've effectively tanked your chances for the entire second half of the exam. It's no longer just a technical test, it's a high stakes productivity test.
So the format has changed, but the high stakes haven't. Now that we know how the test is delivered, we need to look at what is actually being tested within these new 2025 domains.
That's right. And the scope is massive.
To get certified, you have to prove mastery over 6 specific domains: architecture, virtualization, infrastructure, assurance, security, and automation. It covers everything from the physical wires and OSPF routing to the high-level software side like REST APIs and SD-WAN.
Exactly. What stands out to me is how much weight they're putting on automation. Now, you're not just a network admin anymore. You're expected to be part programmer, part security specialist.
So it's not enough to just know how to configure a router anymore?
Not at the enterprise level. And think about it this way. 10 years ago, you could probably ignore the automation domain and still pass. Now, with SD-WAN and programmability being core pillars, Cisco is sending a clear message. The CLI-only era is over. If you can't automate the boring stuff, you can't manage a modern enterprise. In the 2025 landscape, being a hardware guy isn't enough. If you aren't comfortable with APIs and automation, you're effectively speaking a dying language.
It's a massive syllabus, and knowing the topics is only half the battle. Let's talk about the actual battle plan. How do you actually prepare for a test this dense?
That's the key question. It's really about strategic immersion.
Passing this requires more than just reading a book. The pros recommend a mix of structured study plans, joining peer groups for fresh perspectives, and most importantly, using virtual labs to get hands-on experience before the real thing.
I'd add that time practice tests are the absolute make or break factor here. With the labs being at the start now, you need to know exactly how long you can afford to spend on a simulation before you have to move on. You need to stop studying to know the material and start training to perform. Muscle memory wins more certifications than flashcards do.
It's about building that endurance and the right habits. Ultimately, the 350 to 401 is the gateway to the CCNP Enterprise and a much higher salary bracket. Let's wrap up with the biggest takeaways for anyone looking to certify this year. What are the absolute must-knows?
Okay, if you remember nothing else, remember these 4 things. First, train for the new format. The labs are now first, so your whole strategy has to be built around tackling those complex simulations with a fresh mind and a strict clock.
Right, the time management piece.
Second, automation is non-negotiable. You can't just be good at routing and switching anymore. You have to understand SD-WAN, REST APIs, and basic programmability. It's a core competency now, not a specialty. Third, the entire exam is built on a dual stack world. You have to be fluent in how both IPv4 and IPv6 function together in a large enterprise.
Got it. And the last one?
And finally, understand the value of this one exam. Passing the 350 to 401 isn't just about getting one certification. It's the foundational requirement, the single gateway to 3 separate high-level career paths: CCNP Enterprise, CCIE Enterprise Wireless, and CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. It's a huge stepping stone.